G'day, Sam King here from the Funny Far North, and today we're going to be looking at the Java plum. If you don't know, Java plum originates from India, but now it's seen in all sorts of countries around Asia. But even though it's from the tropics, it will grow in other areas too. It grows pretty good in New Zealand. So this video is going to be about that, and Ben's going to be doing most of the talking because, as you know, Ben's been a leader or an expert in growing tropical fruit trees since the first Star Wars movie ages ago. So join with us, and you'll also hear about a small one that we've got on auction. It's about 1200 high, really thriving, looking good, and it's on auction. So if you're in New Zealand, you can buy that. The auction closes on the 11th of April, so coming up pretty soon at about 7:30 at night. Anyway, so grab yourself a coffee or tea or something else, sit down and come along with us. We'll introduce you to our Java plum tree. And at the end of this video, I'll mention a couple of other things because we also operate King Agricultural, and here we sell plastic and all kinds of things to help people growing things. We've got agricultural plastics, we've got exhaust fans for greenhouses, all sorts of stuff. So at the end, I think it's about time we profiled our Java plum tree. This one here has been growing for about 4 or 5 years, I think. Here, Ben can correct me if I'm wrong, but man, they just shoot up really fast. And the story is that these generally will fruit at around about 5 years old in you know, nice warm location, but they can take more than that, you know, up to 10 years or something. But quite often, like with a lot of fruit, they can be wanting to put out fruit, but they might just need the right nutrients added to encourage that, which is what we need to look at. The dirt that it's in at the moment is not super good, so we're going to add some better dirt to it and some better nutrients as well. And hopefully in the next year we might get some our first flowers coming. So we should have done a video on this quite a while ago, but look down there, all the mess. We've been using this as our junkyard, and we've got the trailer over there to take some stuff away to the dump. But anyway, the reason why we're doing it now, even with all this rubbish here, is that we've got just one plant only. One tree that's going up for auction. As you can see, it's a really nice, strong and healthy one. All the plants at Ben's garden, we don't send out little wee sprouts. With something like a Java plum, if you're trying to grow something like a Java plum in New Zealand, they can struggle when they're small. Never buy them just like as a small sprout, like some people do, that kind of thing. Ours, you know, are at a decent size so that they can handle. You just want to look after it, especially in the first year. If you think you might have some cold weather like frost, just give it some good frost protection. But usually after that, it's away and it can handle even a mild frost, no worries. But I'll get Ben to tell you a little bit more about it. Well, let's find out a bit more in-depth information from Maestro Ben.
Yeah, so they do come from India, but also the Philippines and Indonesia. This was one of the first trees that I was studying way back in the 1970s, and I was hoping that one day I might be able to grow them. And when I grew the seeds of these about 5 years ago, they just grew so fast, but the cuttings wouldn't grow very well. So what we did, you did air layers, and the air layers is what the plant that we're selling, that's an air-lad plant, and they got the vigor in them because they got it well connected to the mother tree.
Yeah, just look and see how healthy they are, really bushy and super strong. So that there, you would expect that to grow every bit as fast as this one did. How fast did this one grow?
In 1 year it grew 1.5 meters, and then it was a bit slower, but it's grown about another meter just this summer.
Yeah, I think we might snip the top there just so that it's knows that that's its finished growing height.
And because we didn't have access to the bottom of the tree, the lower branches are creeping and spreading along the ground. So because we never pruned them off, so it looks quite nice that way.
Yeah. But some people do trim the bottom ones off, and so it becomes a nice shade tree for other things. And we've had a number of people chasing us about when you're going to sell some of these. Well, this is the only one that's available here in auction, but we may have one or two more auctions later the year, maybe in winter, maybe in spring. Yeah, so anyway.
We've got 3 of these trees growing here, and every single one of them is in a reasonably dry place. So this is under the eaves of the shed, and the other 2 are at the top of a bank or on the slopes on the side of a creek. So they've got the free drainage. So we don't know how they'll go in wet soil. So if you've got reasonable drainage, then you've got the really best chance of growing as good as what we've got them here. Yeah, with all these...
Looks quite nice and jungly and lush, eh?
Yeah, it's got really great foliage.
Yeah, it's got nice leaves as well. And so what are they known as in other countries?
In India it's jamun. In the Philippines it's
Jamun!
Philippines, duhat.
Yeah.
And most elsewhere, Java plum or jelly beans.
Oh, because they do sort of look like black jelly beans, eh? Yeah. So, you know, well, you can do your own Googling, but I'll stick a couple of links in here. So check it out. So this is a guy growing some. He'll give you a few tips on growing them. There's another one there. Quite interesting. These guys picking a whole lot of fruit. They look pretty cool. And here's a website there too that shows a little bit about the health benefits of these, because people say there's quite a lot of health benefits in these, eh?
Yeah, well, they've been used for thousands of years for treating diabetes.
Yep.
Or rather, treating the people that have got diabetes.
Yeah, so, all right, and it'll be interesting to see, sort of check that against some medical journals and things like that to see what published material there is.
Yeah.
Peer-reviewed information.
And
quite interesting.
If you're really keen on getting them to fruit, probably see all this foliage right close to the ground, and the sun is just focusing right in on there, and that's probably just the right kind of foliage down there that's going to set flowers and fruit.
Oh, really?
Yep, because it'll be warmer than up in the air up there.
Oh, yeah.
Where the wind's going through.
Yeah. And it's also good cover for, what have we got underneath there?
There's a digger engine.
Hide it. You can use it for hiding rubbish. But anyway, so there we go. And so that's what you can expect. And these will actually grow as if you've got them started off in your first year or two, sort of sheltered against your frost or anything like that. Once they're established, they'll just, you know, they'll handle just about anything. So, yep, but propagating them, starting them off, getting them started with seedlings or cuttings is quite difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
In New Zealand.
Yep.
And so, and if you see them for sale and they're selling a little wee small one, what are the chances of it sort of?
Oh, they'd have to nurse it a bit.
Yeah. Could have some difficulty.
But these here, you can see how virtually 100% disease free.
Oh yeah, so with what can you say about those diseases, like, because this is in the myrtle family, isn't it?
Yeah, there are certain members of the myrtle family which are susceptible to the rust, and others which are pretty free. These ones are virtually 100% resistant to it. We've had myrtle rust up the road, and but it never transferred onto these. So it goes to show that it's a very, very highly resistant myrtle.
Yeah, and just look at the pretty prolific, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'll be looking forward to getting some fruit in the next couple of years, hopefully. Whistle and touch wood. So that's a little bit about this Java plum tree, and if you happen to be watching this at around about this sort of time about now, then you'll notice there's a auction on one, but a little bit later in the year we might have might auction one or two others, but we rarely have them because these ones have been produced by air layers, haven't they, Ben?
Yep.
And Ben's normally too busy to do sort of air layers and that sort of thing. We get people asking us, can you air layer this, can you air layer all sorts of stuff, and most things it's not necessary, but for this Java plum it really does help if they're air layered, because they can struggle a little bit as plants, but you know, if it's in air layered one, and look at the vigor on this one here, if you plant that and look after it for the first year, you know, you're pretty much set really. It'll take a very special person to allow it to fail. Some would try though. If you're not going to bid on this, but it's just interesting to you, but if you know any people from India or around Asia and Philippines, they might be really interested, because you know, a lot of people remember it from their childhood or whatever days, and they really like these, so share with people that might be interested, and all good.
You should mention they're suitable for mild frost areas.
Oh, and these are suitable for mild frost areas, as long as you, especially if you look after it for the first couple of years, they can handle mild frosts in New Zealand, so that's good. So check out our listings. We've got two different accounts on Trade Me, one for our pickup point, which is in Hillcrest, Auckland, and the other one is in Kaitaia, and from there we can deliver to anywhere in New Zealand. And check out our Bumface page on Facebook, and you'll see all sorts of videos there. We're on YouTube as well. This video we preview 10 tropical plants that you can grow in New Zealand. With the right advice. And by the way, this is a raccoon. Here's what the fruit from these trees look like. And look at this one here, papaya tasting. You want to find out about our papaya and how by growing our papaya trees you'll get much better results than other options. So check it all out, and yep, and be free to fire any questions our way through Messenger or comments or likes and that sort of thing.